Good morning, I'm Johanna Del Castillo. I'm a plant pathologist and the new CE specialist working with greenhouse and nursery crops. Today we will be talking about how to identify symptoms in your nursery crops that may be caused by pathogens. So the first step you want to do is monitoring your crop. For that, you want to know very well your crop and understand what is the crop stage in which it is and how it should look like. So first step is be a good observer. You will be walking through your crop. In this case, we'll be walking through this juniper and assess if something unusual is perceived in the foliage that we're seeing. Now, walking through this crop, we identify this area where we see some plants that, as you can see here, look with some browning of the needles. If we look at some other healthy plants, they tend to look stunted. Over here, there's an evident plant death of some branches. So these may be indicators of definitely symptoms of something unusual that we're seeing. Now, when we're seeing these symptoms of decay in the foliage, this browning of the needles, we want to go and look what is underneath, because in many cases, the symptoms that we see in the upper part of the plant may be caused by pathogens that infect the roots. So we want to see how the roots of symptomatic plants look like. So for that, we toss the plant and we look over here. As you can see in this picture, at the bottom of the pot, there is some evidence of root rot. And something important that we can do is we want to compare how a healthy plant look like. So for that, we have a comparison of a healthy plant where we turn them down here, and you can see how the wide healthy roots should look compared with a disease root ball. Now that we have identified an area where we see symptomatic plants, we want to see how these symptomatic plants are distributed across our plot. So if you see here, the symptomatic plants are only for now in this patch of the crop. If you look at the rest of the crop, the foliage tends to be greener and we cannot really see the same symptoms that we're seeing over here. When symptoms are caused by a plant pathogen, they usually tend to be grouped in patches, the ones as we see here. A difference when symptoms are caused by abiotic factors, thinking of irrigation or herbicide drift, that we see the whole area of the crop affected. Pathogens, again, are concentrated in the small patches or sections. For the case of this crop, we're seeing a patch over here, and then we see another patch over there. Some symptomatic plants that are concentrated in a patchy area, we may suspect that these symptoms are caused by a pathogen. The next clues or pieces that we need to gather is what are the environmental conditions in which these symptoms were observed. So you want to see what is the irrigation frequency of the crop. Are they getting too much water? Is there a standing water where they're present? Are they in direct contact with the ground? Is there any gravel, or there may be just direct contact with the soil? What is the temperature or relative humidity in which these plants are held? All these different clues or keys are useful for us in order to determine what kind of pathogens may be conducive to disease under these environmental conditions. Find symptoms in your plants that may be caused by pathogens, the next step is you want to contact your farm advisor. With that, he or she can guide you into how to submit samples for disease diagnostics at a diagnostics lab. It's very important when submitting samples that you have at least 3 or 4 plants which showing the symptoms. Very important, you want to make sure the plants are not completely dead, and then make sure you pack them in a sturdy container for delivery.